when I look at your guys' account, at this point, I was tallying up the numbers. There's been about 120 events since December 2022.
Okay.
About 2,700 unique leads generated. Okay, so Tom, could you please introduce yourself, where you're located, and just a little bit about your agency and team structure?
Sure. My name's Tom Phelan. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Florida Legacy Advisors, located here in Central Florida. I also have two affiliate offices that are partnered with me, one out in San Antonio, Texas, that's called Hill Country Legacy Advisors. And then we just took on another office in Jackson, Mississippi, called True North. I apologize. True North Insurance and Financial Services. So all comprised between the three offices, we have about 40-ish producers and financial advisors that are part of our organization.
Awesome. Okay. So just to go back to December 2022, when we started working together, what was your agency's primary lead generation looking like at that point? How were you keeping your producers busy?
Yeah, so we were doing a lot of the traditional approaches that have been done in the senior marketplace by not only captive insurance companies, but a lot of agencies within American Senior Benefits, which is our field marketing organization that we work with. We were using, the phone primarily, a lot of outreach to T65 appointments. We were doing some door knocking with that, and then we were also working some direct mail as well as some internet-based leads at that time.
Okay. Now, with those methods, how many agents were you supporting back then?
Well, we probably only had about 20 to 25 at that time, and that was one of the primary challenges that we were having, is that agents, when they were using that traditional approach of being cold calling people or making outbound calls to people that really have never met them before, they were being met with a lot of resistance. The first challenge that we encountered obviously was the fact that there's a majority of Americans today that are on the do not call list, so that eliminated a large majority of our database of those folks that we were able to reach out to who had not sent in a response lead. And then the second thing with the people that had responded is that they were getting bombarded on 6 different types of calls, and then the cost per lead was going up because the fact that it takes a larger number of people to do that type of approach today to generate the same number of leads. So in short, the challenge that we were having was that our agents were really only getting in front of maybe 2 to 4 prospects a week to be able to present themselves to our products and services. Okay.
Now, yeah, it sounds like consistency obviously was a major bottleneck for you. What other challenges were you facing as far as scaling? Was it really just the lead constraint was the primary bottleneck, or what challenges were you dealing with?
Yeah, that was the primary bottleneck, is being able to generate enough prospects to get our agents in front of. I don't think it had a challenge with a lack of training or product selection, or the individual that we were sending out there to meet with people. Again, in insurance sales, just like any other type of sales, it's a law of numbers. The more people that you have an opportunity to see, the more presentations you can do, and the more presentations you do, generally the more sales that you're gonna make. So that was really holding us back, not only on being able to develop agents and managers that were new to the organization that did not come to us with a book of business, but it also affected us on the recruiting side as well, because there was a lot of people that would look at this career and they would hear a lot of those types of prospecting methods that we were telling them would work for them, but they were the same prospecting methods that they were trying to use at previous organizations that they were having the same exact challenges with, so it was turning people off.
Okay. Now, did you guys include seminars in your previous marketing efforts before we started working together, or what was your experience with in-person?
We did. Yeah. I've been in the business for about 32 years. I've always had a large belief in seminars or seminar type marketing for multiple reasons. But the challenge that we were having is finding a marketing company and a marketing platform that would be able to generate enough butts in the seat at the seminar presentation at a reasonable cost per head.
Okay. Now, as far as like the process of like finding Keywave Digital, what were you looking for at the time, around December 2022, and how did we end up on your radar?
Sure. So I was looking for, like I just alluded to, I was looking for a seminar marketing company that would be able to bring us enough butts in the seats, at our workshops or seminars that we would set up to make it a worthwhile investment for people. But second to that, trying to keep the cost per head very low. How we got affiliated with you or connected with you is that actually I talked with another agency owner with American Senior Benefits, a gentleman named Paul Zobel up in Syracuse, New York, who I had seen was doing a lot of Medicare T65 based workshops. So I reached out to him to find out what he was doing in order to generate those butts in the chairs or butts in the seats for those marketing workshops. And that's when he referred me over to you folks at Keywave Digital Marketing.
What concerns did you have, after talking with Paul, but before you spoke with us, what kind of concerns were on your mind about like implementing this for your own agency?
So I would just say threefold. One is that, again, making sure that we could find a platform that would, generate enough butts in the seats. Again, we want agents going into a seminar where they have a full room rather than, a room where there's only, a couple people or a few people that are in that room. Number two, like I've alluded to a couple times, is the cost per lead or the cost per individual that we're putting into those seats. Again, I don't want to see agents that have never done seminar marketing to a large degree of success really don't want to go out and spend $10,000 or $15,000 to put on a seminar and not know whether or not they're going to get a return on their investment. So we wanted to keep that low enough to be able to make it enticing for people to want to get involved with it. And then the third thing is just making sure that the people that we're meeting with, they know why they were coming. They know who we are. They know what it is that we're going to be talking to them about, which is going to give them a vested interest in wanting to be able to do a follow-up with us if it's appropriate.
Okay, awesome. Now, what made you ultimately decide to move forward? I know word of mouth, obviously, that's certainly a big factor. But other than the word of mouth coming from like an experienced person that told you about us, what other factors influenced your decision at the time?
That was the largest one. Is that again, I take what other people are suggesting. I think a lot of people in this world they look for referrals as a primary source of deciding whether or not they want to get involved with a product or service for themselves, whether it's within a business setting or whether it's in a personal setting. So I heard about the success that Paul was having using Keywave Digital Marketing, and we wanted to give it a try, and we did, and we were able to see a lot of success right from the get-go. The other thing that I wanted to say with that, Aasim, is that again, one of the reasons why I wanted to keep the cost as low as I did, or lower than what we were experiencing before, is that, we have a lot of agents, even though I've had experience, doing seminar marketing in the past and teaching other agents and managers how to do seminar marketing. At the time, we didn't have a lot of agents that had any experience doing any type of seminar marketing. So again, we wanted to keep their results high, or their sales opportunities high, along with keeping their initial investment at a reasonable rate, and then be able to show them the miracle of success that, if you use this as your primary tool to get yourself in front of prospects, you're going to get a very qualified prospect that is, again, if you show them that you know what you're doing, is going to want to do business with you.
That makes sense. Now, do you remember what the first couple of events were like looking back?
Yeah, we made mistakes like everybody did. I think, when I reflect back, a couple of things that we did is, we tried to do some of the events at locations that were not in the quote unquote right setting. And we tried to do events maybe not the right hour to be able to get the biggest draw. So those were the two biggest challenges that we faced. A third challenge with that is, again, working with individuals that really haven't had experience doing seminar marketing, being able to show them and teach them exactly what they need to do in order to maximize their results. So we're just getting that learning curve up and running. But for our agents that are maximizing their success with the seminar marketing today, they ramped up rather quickly. Some of them ramped up a little bit slower than that, but that's how life works, right? Everybody learns something at a different pace.
And what does that ramp up process look like for the typical agent with you at this
So
point?
so with us, we connect every one of our new agents with a veteran agent or sales manager within our organization. And then what the veteran sales manager and their team does is they're the ones who put on the first several events.
Okay.
And they work with the agent to show them exactly what the presentation needs to look like, how to schedule the appointments with the prospects, and then they work the sales appointments with the new agents in order to help them be able to convert those sales leads into sales.
Okay.
For that new agent. So therefore, again, like I said, they can see that miraculous success rather than just say, hey, you know what, you got a room with 30 people, go in there and good luck, Tiger.
That makes sense. I guess, yeah, so now looking at where we are now, nearly 3 years later, I said like 120, a little over 120 events total, almost 3,000 signups generated.
Yeah.
What does the current operation look like? I know you have a couple managers that are kind of running the operation. How are the teams structured otherwise, though?
So I think what you're asking here, Aasim, is in short, everybody that we recruited into the organization, when I'm going through the recruiting process or one of the sales managers is going through with the recruiting process with them, we lead with seminar marketing as being our primary marketing and prospecting tool. Okay. That we use. So that tracks a lot of individuals into the organization. Each one of those new individuals that come into the organization generally either has little or no insurance experience that they've had a lot of success with. So we partner every single one of them with one of our sales managers to make sure that they can get that training, not only within the office structure, but within the field structure as well. And then they can get that mentorship one-on-one to be able to help them grow, develop on themselves before we start turning it over to them to be able to become more self-sufficient in our organization. So again, everybody learns this business at a different pace. Some people are going to ramp up quicker than others, but that's okay. As long as we have somebody that's positive and they're professional and they're putting in the effort, we're going to make sure that they get the mentorship and the training that they're going to need in order to help grow and develop themselves within the organization.
Awesome. Now, I know you mentioned whenever you kind of started around that time frame, you had about 15 producers on the team. Has working with us helped you kind of grow the team more?
Yeah, absolutely, Aasim. I mean, again, when we're going through the recruiting process, we talk to them about all aspects of our business, but when we get to the marketing and the prospecting side of what we do in our organization, we lead with the fact that we work with, Keywave Digital Marketing in order to partner and be able to generate butts in the seats for our seminar workshops. And by talking to people about that, that's incredibly attractive to a lot of agents that have never been in this industry before or have been into this industry and they've been with other organizations where their primary source for prospecting and marketing has been cold calling people or calling on family and friends or you got to buy these really expensive leads off the internet and hope that you just hit Mrs. Jones at the right time, that she wants to see somebody because she didn't want to see the other 7 people that called her on the same lead. So when we lead with that, you see a lot of people's eyes open to be like, you know what, this sounds way more attractive than any other thing that I've looked at or been a part of in the insurance industry. I want to be part of your organization. So it's definitely made our recruiting systems a lot more profitable for ourselves, being able to attract the right individuals to our organization and show them how we're different.
Awesome. Now, as far as like your role within your business, how is, having a reliable marketing system like this impacted kind of your day-to-day role and how you were able to work on the business at this point?
Yeah, again, same thing. My time as the CEO is, it's a lot more centered around making sure that the agents are getting the training and the support and the mentorship that they need, not only at the current time, but I can spend time looking in the future, be able to think about, okay, where are we going to be at 3 months from now, 6 months from now, or a year from now? What do we got to do? Continue to grow and develop the agency and the individuals that are part of it. Whereas before, I was constantly searching for, hey, what's the newest, greatest lead that's out there? What's going to be able to, where's that magic, quote unquote, Glengarry lead? If anybody's familiar with that, how do I find that? And again, when I talk to new recruits, that's the number one thing that new recruits want to know is, what are you going to provide me for leads? Well, let's talk to you about this seminar marketing system that we use and how it's going to put, again, we're averaging 50 to 60 individuals that will RSVP on most of our events with about a 50% show ratio. So you're looking 20, 25 butts in the chair with every one of our seminar marketing opportunities that we do. And if they just go through the sales presentation or the educational presentation that we use, they're going to put themselves in a great opportunity to be able to schedule a lot of individual appointments that already know who they are. So there's that level of trust there. They're going to know exactly what it is that we do on a day-to-day basis. They're going to know that, the products and services that we can provide to them. And obviously they have a vested interest in wanting to sit down and talk to somebody within our organization. Otherwise, they wouldn't have scheduled the appointment. So there's probably a greater level of a need there that's going to be able to be converted into a sale versus walking into a house that, you've never met with that prospect before and they don't know who you are. So again, that changes my day-to-day life. That changes my sales manager's day-to-day life, that we can work more on, okay, once we got this agent up and running, how do we continue their growth and development into maybe some of the other products and services that we offer to people other than just the basic ones that we use when we first meet with somebody.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I guess from an ROI standpoint, what does the ROI look like on a per event basis? Are you kind of breaking even in the week or two after the event? Are you seeing an ROI immediately, or does that take time to?
It's going to vary depending upon the event. I'd say generally we break even, very quickly off from each event. And then we'll turn profits down the road. And when I say down the road, a lot of it has to do with timing. Again, I know a lot of the marketing efforts are centered around Medicare and the other four or the other three areas of somebody's retirement. So sometimes it's a timing deal where somebody's not ready to start their Medicare insurance, within a week or two after we first meet with them. So we put all these folks, actually you have a great system for us where you're able to port all of the RSVPs into our internal CRM, which again gives us the opportunity to continue to follow up with those prospects and continue to work them. So some of them will convert a month later, will convert 3 months later, some of them 6 months later. In fact, believe it or not, we're still making sales today from people that attended seminars in 2024.
Wow. What do you think makes that possible at this point?
I think, again, it's a timing issue with a lot of people. Everything that happens in the insurance business centers around timing. The timing might not be right when they first have an opportunity to meet with an insurance broker, for example, with American Senior Benefits of Florida Legacy Advisors, but they're going to remember who we are, and they're going to remember how we presented ourselves at that first meeting that they had. They're going to remember the follow-up interactions that we've had with them and how we come across personable and professional for them. So when the timing is right, hopefully we're the people that are right on the top of their list where they can reach back out to us and say, you know what, we attended one of your seminars, and we weren't ready to do anything then, but we think that we're ready to do today. Is there a chance that we can, you would still have an opportunity to meet with me?
Awesome. Got it. So I guess, the final questions I have, if there's an agency owner who's kind of in the spot you were before we started working together, maybe they're struggling with the lead costs, agent retention is difficult, we're just trying to scale with numerous challenges, what would you tell them at this point?
I would say take a look at seminar marketing as your focal point. And again, the reason why I encourage that is, number one is that it's going to give you an opportunity to meet with people that already know who you are and they already know what you do. And again, they wouldn't schedule the sales appointment with you after that initial group presentation if they didn't see the value in having an opportunity to sit down with somebody like yourself. And again, for an agency owner, though, that's the hardest thing that we have to do is we can teach the best sales presentations in the world. We can have the best products and services in the world. But if you have an agent that is only getting in front of 1 or 2 people a week, they're not going to be very successful. Here we have a system where we can put 20 to 25, sometimes 30 people or more into one room. We can do a group presentation to them, showing them exactly who we are, what we do for people, and why it would be important to sit down and talk to somebody like ourselves. And you get all of that for, in a lot of instances, less than the cost that you would spend on one of those direct mail marketing tools or one of those internet lead generation systems.
Okay. I guess, and then specifically about working with Keywave Digital, if someone was kind of in your position where you were 3 years ago looking at our systems or looking at our services, what do you think would be beneficial for them to know before starting to work with us?
I would say 2 things. One is look at, what the cost is for butts in the chair. Again, there's a lot of different marketing companies out there. Some of them still use the same tools and same processes that were used 15, 20, 30 years ago in this business. And again, the example that I would use of that is they use direct mail marketing, for example. Well, again, Mrs. Jones today is getting 73 invitations in her mailbox. Sometimes it doesn't even fit into her mailbox. And so she's not going to look through every single one of them to find out which one has the magical dinner. So being able to use Keywave Digital Services as our primary focus on the marketing tool, number one is it keeps the cost low, because through the digital marketing that Keywave does, it comes at a lower price point, and so you get great results as far as the RSVPs, so it keeps your butts in the chair low. Number 2, everybody that comes to our seminars, they know exactly why they're coming. They know the information that's being presented. So the ads that Keywave Digital Marketing is using to attract the right RSVPs, they're very clear, and there's nobody coming in with a misunderstanding of what the presentation is going to be about and who we are. So those are the 2 biggest things. The third thing is, I would say, all the other services that go along with the initial marketing that Keywave Digital Services uses and does for an individual, and it's all built into that. Again, you guys have your own CRM, so therefore the people that RSVP, they go into that CRM. There's a ton of confirmations done with these prospects, not only done via text message and via email, to make sure that the prospect is reminded that they've signed up for this event and that they want to make sure that they can attend, and if they can't, to be able to communicate, so therefore that they're not going to be there. And then there are some systems in there that allow you, again, to follow up with those prospects, to be able to enter the key data in as far as what interacted with them during the presentation and or what other interactions you want to be able to have with these folks after that initial meeting. So it's all built into the Keywave Digital Services platform, and it just makes it a very robust system for an agent to be able to get a number of prospects that they can get in front of, that know who they are, again, that know what it is that you're going to be talking to them about. And again, they wouldn't have signed up if they didn't know that who you are and what you're going to be talking to them about.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I don't have any more questions, Tom. I really appreciate you taking the time to hop on here and just talk with me about your experience so far.
Yeah,
really just kind of validates us putting in the time to help, agency owners like yourself, hearing kind of the effects it has on your business and how you're able to grow, really.
Yeah. It's been my pleasure, Aasim, and I've looked forward to working with you and your team, not only today and tomorrow, but into the far future with what we're doing together.